Everyone's got a secret, we're here to spill them. Real people, real confessions every single day. Subscribe Confess Line if you can handle the truth. I have a history of stealing. I've stolen lots of drinks from my grandparents' fridge, drank $1,000 of my parents' liquor. Am kind of a scumbag. I've stolen hundreds of dollars from my parents in cash and a couple times on credit card to buy liquor, used all of their quarters to take them to the bank to get money and sneak nips up my sleeves. Had to fight like hell to not steal from my sister when she visited. I kind of act like a hard drug user in a lot of ways, which makes me feel kind of subhuman. Also used to ask them for money all the time to get gas when in reality, I wasn't driving my car and buying Kratom. I'm a low-key family thief. The only reason my parents haven't kicked me out, disowned me, reported me to straighten me up, etc., is because I have PTSD from an extremely traumatic event, bipolar disorder, among other issues, and they know I do it just to not feel like I want to die and feel bad for me. I'm an otherwise really good person. Though from the outside reading this, you might not believe me. I wouldn't be an addict today if it wasn't for significant trauma. I just don't see a better life for me than addiction. It's too late for that. Life's fucked, and sometimes you have to carve out your own path if you want to survive and feel anything that resembles the happy life other people have. I try to hide that I'm an addict from new people in my life. I don't think they'd want anything to do with a person like me. The last person that knew doubted I'd get a job in the field I want, and that I'd be able to handle being a professor. I felt insulted. I knew I was being stereotyped as a worthless failure fuck-up addict bound to be like this forever. Disowned that friend. Life just feels great, man. Second confession. I was serving a prison sentence in a federal penitentiary in Canada, and it was a long weekend with very little medical staff on hand. I've had kidney stones before, so I knew exactly what it was. I could feel it moving through my urethra and I was in agony. I begged the guards for help and a nurse gave me 2 plain Tylenol. I was pissing blood, so I knew I needed to do something. I used a match to sterilize a paperclip. Then I inserted it into the hole at the end of my penis and, well, I screamed in pain. I pulled the stone out. Instant relief! Third confession. True story, I swear I can't believe I'm back to this shit. I at least thought I wouldn't be desperate enough to steal again. Though I planned on relapse months in advance. Just knew I wouldn't feel shit cause of my meds. Great for my inner worth. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm a good person, just want to escape the pain of life. I was trusted to watch an elderly family member living at their house while they were gone. And while I was there, I suddenly felt an itch. I knew somewhere in the house was liquor they were hiding from me. My mom literally made me promise before she went away this weekend that I wouldn't plan to drink, and that I wasn't getting off my meds so I can get drunk. Well, the second part was a lie. I didn't think I would drink. I searched their house until I found a bottle of vodka, pounded a bottle of water, refilled the entire bottle with vodka. So, basically a pint. Instead of hanging out when they got back, I immediately got on my shoes and left. I couldn't feel any euphoria from drinking anyway. Apparently 4 days off of my meds wasn't enough for the euphoria to refill. Brain needs more time to recalibrate. Maybe a month. While I was basically blackout, my aunt was worried I wasn't answering and came in my house and found me like that, worried I'd be dead, as both she and my parents have been many times because of drinking heavily on medication. At one point on an old med regimen, my therapist would constantly tell me I was at constant risk of dying, and I didn't give a shit. I probably wanted it in some way. Drinking is the only thing that makes me feel alive and want to live, so it really sucks. Been to rehab twice. No doubt I'll be back in rehab for the 3rd time within 6 months at best. And probably only because I'll be desperate when I'm out of money to escape the agony of withdrawal, and my parents won't let me come home from detox unless I go to rehab. Never took it that seriously. Used to snort gabapentin all the time my first time in rehab, hiding it under my tongue. I just took 2G of gabapentin to try to get high since alcohol didn't work yesterday. Fourth confession. My guy best friend and I were platonic for the longest time. Our relationship was simple and solid. He went through multiple relationships and I was there to support him throughout. And he used to help me a lot with classes, and that's how we became friends. From the start, it was clearly established that we would not date each other, as we were way off from each other's both physical and personality types. Then he went through this particular breakup and he urgently clung on to me as the emotional girlfriend. Now I was there and supported him, maybe a little more than I should have. At one point we started going on long walks every other day randomly, and we couldn't stop talking to each other every day, and he'd at least call 2-3 times every day. I want to say strictly, though we both became codependent, it never crossed physical boundaries. I had a meltdown one day about him not leaving me, as he was my closest friend, but lately it doesn't seem like the boundary is respected. I liked the attention, but I valued the friendship more. And at one point we both admitted that this was not right, and talked about boundaries, in which I stated that anything you wouldn't do if you had a girlfriend as the boundary. Now my girlfriend group started leaving me during this period, so I was only close to him, but strictly maintained what I said. But after a few days, he started to subtly flirt, pulling my chair closer, pretending to almost kiss me to see my reaction, saying sexual flirt lines, and then switching them when I asked, what did he say? Now I liked the attention, which is wrong, but I was also upset by the way he behaved. And then I had to leave for my home country for 4 months, during which he consistently called me, though we had less and less to talk about. But important information and updates was always shared. And I thought, okay, things have calmed down. The last week before I come, he says, you know deep down that we'd be a power couple. I'm confused as hell. Through all of this, bro is like, I'd never date you. You're like my neighborhood best friend auntie, one of the bros. I come home, then he offers to walk me back home when I went to grab water and insists on helping me fix my bed, even though we weren't able to. The next I go to get water again after calling him 15 minutes in prior, where he was coming home from gym. He stands shirtless and stands opposite to me and pinches his abs, saying, do you see my progress in the past 4 months? I understand that guys are shirtless sometimes, and I'd have been cool with it if this was his usual behavior and has happened before. 2, if he didn't pinch his abs while saying, look at my abs, I get very confused, and at this point I'm sure he's decided, which also influences me. I start to see him in that light despite not wanting to. While full well knowing he has no intentions of dating, I'm hurt, confused, and ashamedly hopeful. Now he's made it clear that I'm not pretty enough, ambitious enough, thin enough for him before too. I confront him and he says I'm overthinking, I'm wasting time, which I should be spending finding a job. He seemed so genuine too. I'm hurt and confused whether I was the one who sabotaged the relationship by catching feelings, and also hurt that I might have lost a very dear friend who was my pillar before these things started. He finished by saying, you need new girlfriends, and I need to get a girlfriend because it seems your intentions have changed, not me. I said maybe he's right because I couldn't stand up for myself, but said that I need space either way, as I constantly felt like I had to prove myself to him. And in the end, begged him to not be a stranger, I just need space not to cut him off. I see him in class, and I'm sad by how quiet and no words we can say today because I know I can't take back what I said. But he's or was my best friend, and now I'm realizing I was hung up for so much validation from him too. But I'm so sad, please advice, comments, can I salvage this? He's the first person I think about when I have good or bad news to share. And it hurts too much to bear his absence.